First strike. Target lock lost again, Admiral. Admiral Sarah Chen rubbed her temples as she stared at the massive holographic display dominating the bridge of the HSS Avalanche. The experimental warship's quantum sensors struggled to maintain a fix on the practice drone barely 50,000 kilometers away, a frustratingly short distance by space warfare standards. Quantum fold drive stability at 82% and falling, reported Lieutenant Park from the engineering station. We need to power down soon or risk a cascade failure. Chen's jaw tightened. After 3 years of development and countless billions in resources, humanity's greatest technological achievement was still struggling with basic target tracking. If they couldn't get the systems working properly, Earth's last hope of resistance would crumble before it began. The Sarax Empire's invasion fleet was coming. Their automated probes had already been detected passing the Kuiper Belt, moving with the inexorable patience of predators who knew their prey couldn't escape. Humanity had perhaps 2 months before the main fleet arrived. Power down the quantum systems, Chen ordered. Standard drive only for return to dock. As the revolutionary but temperamental quantum fold drive spun down, Chen watched the practice drone drift lazily through space. Such a simple target, yet they still couldn't reliably track it while the quantum systems were active. The fundamental problem was that the quantum fold technology that gave the Avalanche its unprecedented power also interfered with traditional sensors. It was like trying to take precise measurements while riding a roller coaster. Admiral, her XO Commander Rivera spoke quietly beside her. The Joint Chiefs are waiting for your report. Chen nodded grimly. Another day, another failure to report. But she refused to give up hope. The Avalanche represented humanity's greatest achievement, a warship that could manipulate quantum fields to generate devastating weapons and impenetrable defenses, if they could just solve the targeting problem. Message from Engineering, Admiral, Lieutenant Park announced. Dr. Wang wants to see you immediately. Says she may have found something in the sensor data. Chen's pulse quickened. Dr. Sarah Wang was the brilliant physicist who had helped develop the quantum fold drive. If anyone could crack this problem, it was her. Tell the chiefs I'll report in an hour, Chen told Rivera as she strode toward the bridge exit. Have the test data sent to Dr. Wang's lab. The walk to the engineering labs took Chen through the heart of the massive warship. At over 3 kilometers long, the Avalanche was the largest vessel humanity had ever constructed. Most of that space was taken up by the quantum fold drive and its supporting systems, technology that allowed the ship to manipulate the fundamental forces of reality itself. Dr. Wang barely looked up from her holographic displays as Chen entered the lab. The physicist's dark hair was pulled back in a messy bun, and empty coffee cups littered her workstation. Look at this, Wang said without preamble, gesturing at a complex wave pattern floating in the air. We've been idiots, Sarah. Complete idiots. Chen had known Wang long enough to be unfazed by her brusque manner. Show me. We've been trying to use conventional sensors to track targets while the quantum fold is active, Wang explained, manipulating the hologram. But look what happens when we analyze the quantum field itself. The wave pattern shifted, revealing a ghostly echo of the practice drone's position. The quantum interference isn't just noise, Wang continued excitedly. It's actually providing more targeting data than our normal sensors ever could. We just needed to learn how to read it. Chen stared at the display, hope blooming in her chest. Can you adapt the targeting systems to use this? Already working on it. Give me 48 hours, and we'll be able to track a dust mote at 1,000,000 kilometers. For the first time in weeks, Chen felt herself smile. Maybe, just maybe, they had a chance after all. 2 days later, Chen stood on the Avalanche's bridge once more, watching the practice drone dance through space. This time, however, the targeting display showed a rock-solid lock on the target. Quantum fold drive at full power, Park reported. All systems nominal. Chen allowed herself a moment to savor their success before giving the order she'd been waiting 3 years to give. Weapons free. Show me what this ship can really do. The quantum fold drive hummed to life, its exotic energies twisting space itself around the avalanche. On Chen's command, a precisely calculated portion of that energy was channeled into the main weapon array. Reality rippled as the quantum weapon fired. There was no beam, no projectile, just a sudden distortion in space-time that intersected with the practice drone's position. Where the drone had been, there was now only an expanding cloud of subatomic particles. Target destroyed. Tactical reported unnecessarily. Total molecular disruption. A cheer went up from the bridge crew, quickly stifled by their ingrained discipline. But Chen let them have their moment of celebration. They'd earned it. Begin full weapons trials, she ordered. I want to know everything this ship can do before the Seracs arrive. Over the next several weeks, the Avalanche's capabilities exceeded even its designer's wildest expectations. The quantum weapons could devastate targets at ranges that made conventional weapons look like slingshots. The quantum fold drive allowed for maneuvers that defied normal physics, and most importantly, the ship's quantum fields could be configured into defensive barriers that nothing seemed able to penetrate. The Avalanche wasn't just a warship. It was humanity's declaration that they would not go quietly into extinction. When the first Seracs warships finally appeared at the edge of the solar system, humanity was ready. The alien vessels were massive constructions of crystalline materials and exotic alloys, each one larger than Earth's largest cities. Their weapons had devastated countless civilizations across the galaxy. But they had never faced anything like the Avalanche. Chen stood on her bridge, watching the Seracs fleet approach with predatory grace. In minutes, they would be in range, and humanity would reveal its greatest achievement to the galaxy. All hands, battle stations, she ordered, her voice calm and steady. Prepare to engage quantum fold drive. As klaxons sounded throughout the massive ship, Chen allowed herself a small smile. The Seracs thought they were hunting prey. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. For Earth, she whispered. Then, louder. Weapons free. The quantum fold drive awakened, and the Avalanche surged forward to meet humanity's would-be destroyers. The real war was about to begin. Breaking point. The Seracs fleet's advance slowed as they detected the Avalanche's approach. Their crystalline ships shifted formation, spreading out in a pattern that had spelled doom for countless civilizations before. But where other species had faced this array with terror, Admiral Chen saw only opportunity. Multiple targeting locks from enemy vessels, Lieutenant Park reported. They're charging weapon systems. Let them, Chen responded calmly. Maintain course. Dr. Wang, status of the quantum field. The physicist's voice came through clear on the bridge speakers. Field integrity at maximum. Ready to initiate defensive protocols on your mark. The first Serac shots came as brilliant lances of plasma, each powerful enough to vaporize a conventional warship. They struck the Avalanche's quantum field and simply ceased to exist, their energy absorbed and redistributed through quantum space. A moment of absolute silence fell over the bridge. Even the Seracs fleet seemed to pause, as if struggling to process what they'd just witnessed. No damage, Park announced, wonder in his voice. Not even a fluctuation in the quantum field. Chen allowed herself a small smile. Now it's our turn. Target the nearest heavy cruiser. Standard quantum burst, 20% power. The Avalanche's quantum weapons discharge, creating a ripple in spacetime that intersected with the targeted Seracs vessel. Where the alien ship's crystalline armor had shrugged off conventional weapons for centuries, it now shattered like glass. The massive vessel broke apart, its pieces tumbling through space as its power systems failed. By all the stars, someone whispered on the bridge. The remaining Serac ships reacted instantly, their formation shifting with mechanical precision. More plasma beams lashed out, accompanied by graviton torpedoes and weapons humanity had no names for. All were absorbed by the quantum field. They're adapting their weapon frequencies, Wang reported. Trying to find a weakness in our defenses, but they don't understand. The quantum field doesn't work like conventional shields. It's not about frequency or power. We're literally redirecting their attacks through quantum space. The Serax's next tactical shift proved Wong correct. Their fleet split into smaller groups, attempting to surround the Avalanche. It was a sound strategy against normal opponents, but the Avalanche was anything but normal. Multiple targeting solutions available, Tactical reported. They're trying to divide our attention. Chen nodded. Let's show them why that's a mistake. Full spread, quantum burst at 40% power. Target their heavy elements first. The Avalanche's quantum weapons fired again, this time creating multiple distortions that rippled through space. 3 more Serax ships literally came apart at the atomic level, their crystalline structures unable to maintain coherence when reality itself twisted around them. The alien fleet's response was immediate and unexpected. Rather than retreat, they pressed their attack with even greater intensity. New weapons platforms emerged from their larger vessels, deploying what appeared to be some form of phase-shifted energy weapon. Quantum field holding, Wong reported, but there was tension in her voice. They're trying something new, some kind of resonance effect. It's not dangerous yet, but they're learning. Chen frowned. The Serax were adapting faster than expected. It made sense. You didn't build an interstellar empire without the ability to analyze and counter new threats. But humanity had planned for this. Initiate Protocol Omega, Chen ordered. Dr. Wong, prepare for full quantum fold. A ripple of anticipation ran through the bridge crew. They had drilled this maneuver countless times, but never attempted it in actual combat. The risks were significant, but so were the potential rewards. The Avalanche's quantum fold drive spooled up to maximum power, its exotic energies saturating every molecule of the massive ship. Space itself seemed to blur around them as Wong's calculations took effect. Quantum fold in 3, 2, 1. Reality twisted. The Avalanche seemed to exist in multiple places simultaneously, its quantum state smeared across a volume of space several light seconds in diameter. To the Serax sensors, it must have looked like their single opponent had suddenly multiplied into dozens of identical vessels. The alien fleet's coordination faltered for the first time. Their precise formation broke as different ships reacted to different quantum echoes of the Avalanche, unable to determine which was real, because in a sense, they all were. Target lock on their command vessel, Chen ordered. Full power quantum burst. The energy released was beyond anything they had tested in trials. Space itself seemed to scream as the quantum weapon discharged through multiple points in spacetime simultaneously. The Serax command ship, a behemoth nearly twice the size of the Avalanche, simply ceased to exist at a fundamental level. When the quantum echoes faded, nearly a third of the Serax fleet had been reduced to drifting debris. The remaining ships were pulling back, their perfect formation shattered, their confidence broken. They're retreating, Park announced, disbelief evident in his voice. Multiple ships entering FTL. They're running. The bridge erupted in cheers, but Chen raised a hand for silence. Maintain battle stations. Dr. Wong. Analysis of their weapons data. Already processing it, Wong replied. Their attempts to counter our quantum field taught us a lot. I can start working on improvements immediately. Chen nodded, watching the last Serax ships vanish into FTL. This was only the beginning. The aliens would return with new tactics, new weapons, new countermeasures. But humanity would be ready. The Avalanche had proved its worth, and more importantly, proved that humanity could stand against the galaxy's greatest empire. Send word to Earth, Chen ordered. First engagement successful. The Avalanche performs beyond specifications. Request permission to begin Phase 2. As the message was transmitted, Chen allowed herself a moment to reflect. Humanity had just fought its first battle against the Serax Empire, and won decisively. But victory brought its own challenges. The aliens would not take this defeat lightly, and their response would be terrible to behold. The real war was just beginning. Counterattack. 7 more systems have pledged their support. Commander Rivera reported, updating the strategic display aboard the Avalanche. The Centauri Collective, the Vega Confederation, and 5 independent worlds. Admiral Chen studied the expanding network of alliance markers spreading across the galactic map. Word of the Avalanche's victory had spread faster than light itself, carried by quantum communication relays and desperate hope. Species that had suffered under Seracs' dominion for generations were finally seeing a chance for freedom. The Seracs have ruled through fear for millennia, Dr. Wong observed, her holographic presence joining them from her lab deep within the ship. But fear cuts both ways. Now they're the ones who are afraid. 3 months had passed since their first engagement, and the Seracs' response had been telling. Instead of launching an immediate counterattack, they had withdrawn their forces from dozens of frontier systems, consolidating around their core territories. It was the first time in recorded history that the Empire had given up territory voluntarily. Latest intelligence from the Centauri Scouts, Rivera continued. The Seracs are converting major industrial centers to military production. They're building something big. Of course they are, Chen replied. They're trying to replicate our quantum technology. But they're working from observation alone. They don't understand the fundamental principles. Wang's hologram nodded. It took us decades just to develop the theoretical framework. Without that foundation, they're just throwing resources at a problem they don't fully understand, which gives us a window of opportunity, Chen said, manipulating the strategic display. Computer, highlight all major Seracs military installations within strike range of our new allies. Dozens of red markers appeared across the map. The Avalanche had proven that Seracs' defenses could be broken. Now, with the support of other species providing intelligence and logistics, they could strike at the Empire's military infrastructure before they developed countermeasures. Message from Earth Command. Park announced from his station. Operation Shatterpoint is approved. We have authorization to proceed with Phase 2. Chen allowed herself a grim smile. Phase 2 was ambitious, perhaps even reckless, but the alternative was giving the Seracs time to adapt and rebuild. Signal our allies, she ordered. The counter-offensive begins in 48 hours. Dr. Wong, is the Avalanche ready? Better than ready, Wong replied with evident pride. The combat data from our first engagement let us refine the quantum field harmonics. We're operating at 30% higher efficiency now. The next 2 days passed in a blur of preparation. The Avalanche's quantum fold drive was tested and calibrated. Targeting systems were updated with the latest intelligence. The allied species positioned their fleets to support the offensive, ready to move into systems the moment the Seracs' defenses fell. When 0 hour arrived, the Avalanche emerged from quantum space near a major Seracs fortress world. The orbital defenses were massive, rings of automated weapon platforms, crystalline battle stations, and concentrated fighter squadrons. At the center of it all sat a Seracs dreadnought, twice the size of the vessel they destroyed in their first encounter. Multiple enemy contacts, Tactical reported calmly. They're deploying in a defensive shell configuration. Detecting new energy signatures, unknown weapon types. As expected, Chen nodded. They've been preparing for us. Dr. Wong, begin quantum analysis of their new systems. The Seracs struck first, unleashing a barrage that combined their traditional weapons with something new, beams of concentrated quantum interference designed to disrupt the Avalanche's field. Clever, Wong commented as the attacks splashed harmlessly against their defenses. They're trying to match our quantum frequency to create destructive interference, but they don't realize our field is dynamic, constantly shifting through quantum states. Show them why that matters, Chen ordered. Full power to weapons. Target their command and control nodes first. The Avalanche's quantum weapons lashed out, but this time the Seracs were better prepared. Their defensive screens flickered with new energy patterns, attempting to disperse the quantum effects. It wasn't entirely successful. Their defenses still failed, but it showed they were learning. Multiple targets destroyed, Tactical reported, but their adaptation rate is increasing. Each shot is becoming less effective as they adjust their defenses. Chen had expected this. Initiate Protocol Sigma. Dr. Wong, prepare for quantum cascade. The physicist's hologram smiled. I was hoping you'd say that. Quantum cascade primed and ready. The Avalanche's quantum fold drive spooled up to maximum power, but instead of creating spatial duplicates, it generated a wave of quantum disruption that spread outward at light speed. Where it touched Serac ships and stations, their newly developed quantum defenses backfired spectacularly, their attempts to manipulate quantum fields amplifying the cascade effect instead of blocking it. The result was devastating. The entire defensive network collapsed in seconds, their own countermeasures turned against them. The massive dreadnought at the center of their formation tried to jump to FTL, but the quantum cascade had already corrupted its drive systems. Enemy fleet is disabled. Tactical announced. Local space secured. Allied forces are moving in to claim the system. But Chen was already looking at the next target. This was just the beginning. A demonstration to their allies that the Seracs could be beaten not just once, but consistently. Each victory would bring more allies, more resources, more opportunities to strike at the heart of the Empire. Prepare for quantum fold, she ordered. We have 5 more targets today, and time is against us. The Seracs are learning, adapting. We need to press our advantage while we still have it. As the Avalanche prepared to jump to its next target, Chen received a priority message from Earth. New intelligence had been discovered in the captured Seracs databases, something that changed everything they thought they knew about the Empire and its true purposes. The war was about to take an unexpected turn. The heart of the Empire. Admiral Chen stared at the decoded Seracs data, her mind struggling to process its implications. Behind her, Dr. Wong's hologram paced anxiously while Commander Rivera sat in stunned silence. This can't be right, Rivera finally said. The Seracs aren't an empire at all. They're running. Running and conquering at the same time, Wong corrected, using subjugated species and stolen resources to build up their defenses. The question is, running from what? The stolen database had revealed a truth no one had expected. The Seracs Empire's expansion wasn't driven by conquest or glory. It was driven by fear. They were fleeing something that had destroyed their original home galaxy, something they called only the Void. Show me the long-range scans again, Chen ordered. The holographic display shifted, showing astronomical data from the far edge of Serac space. There, at the very limit of their sensors' range, was something that defied explanation. A region of space where stars were simply disappearing. The Void consumes approximately 1 light-year of space every standard month, Wong read from the data. The Seracs have been staying ahead of it for over 10,000 years, building up their empire as a buffer zone. And now we're disrupting their preparations, Chen said quietly. No wonder they responded so aggressively to our colonies. We weren't just a potential conquest, we were an obstacle to their survival. The bridge fell silent as they contemplated the implications. The Seracs weren't just conquerors, they were refugees on a galactic scale, desperately accumulating resources and territory to survive an apocalyptic threat. Admiral, Rivera spoke up. New intelligence from our Centauri allies. They'd located the Serac Central Command, their actual seat of power, not the decoy we've been targeting. The display shifted again, showing a massive artificial structure deep in Serac space. It wasn't a palace or a military fortress, but a research facility larger than Earth's moon. The quantum energy readings from it were off the scale. They're not just building weapons, Wong realized, studying the data. They're trying to find a way to stop the Void. These energy signatures, they're attempting to create a quantum barrier on a galactic scale. Chen's mind raced with the possibilities. The Avalanche's quantum technology was more advanced than anything the Seracs had developed, despite their millennia of research. If they combined their knowledge. Send word to Earth Command, she ordered. The situation has changed. Request authorization for diplomatic contact. Rivera looked up sharply. Admiral, the Seracs have killed billions. Our allies will never agree to. Our allies don't know what's coming. Chen interrupted. If this void isn't stopped, none of our victories will matter. There won't be a galaxy left to save. The next few hours were tense as they waited for Earth's response. The Avalanche maintained position at the edge of Serac space, watching as their former enemies continued their desperate work, unaware that humanity now knew their secret. Finally, the quantum communicator pulsed with Earth's reply. Chen read it twice to be sure she understood the implications. Authorization granted, she announced. But with conditions. We're to proceed to the Serac's research facility and offer them a choice. Immediate cessation of all hostilities and full technological cooperation, or we disable their facility and leave them to face the void alone. They'll never agree, Rivera protested. They will, Wang countered. Because we can prove our quantum technology is more effective than theirs. The Seracs are pragmatic. They've survived this long by taking advantage of any resource they can find. We're not just offering peace, we're offering them a better chance at survival. Chen nodded. Plot a course to the facility. Maximum quantum stealth. If this goes wrong, I want to be in position to disable their defenses before they can react. As the Avalanche prepared for what might be its most important mission yet, Chen studied the astronomical data showing the approaching void. The Seracs had spent millennia running from it, building an empire through conquest and fear. Now humanity had a chance to show them a different way, if they could convince an ancient enemy to become an ally. Dr. Wang, she called, how quickly can you adapt our quantum field technology to work on a galactic scale? The physicist hologram smiled. Give me access to that research facility and a few Serac's quantum engineers to collaborate with. We might actually have a chance. The Avalanche slipped into quantum space, heading toward what would either be the greatest diplomatic victory in human history or the beginning of a war that would leave them all vulnerable to the approaching darkness. Either way, the true battle for survival was about to begin. Dawn of a new era. The Serac's research facility loomed before them, a construct of crystalline spires and quantum arrays that dwarfed the Avalanche. As they approached under stealth, Admiral Chen could see why the Seracs had hidden this place so carefully. It represented the sum total of their civilization's knowledge and hopes. Multiple defense platforms detecting our presence, Tactical reported. But they're not activating weapons. They're scanning us. They recognize our quantum signature, Wang's hologram explained. After our previous encounters, they know exactly what we're capable of. A transmission cut through their communications, carrying the distinctive harmonics of Serac's language. The universal translator processed it quickly. Human vessel Avalanche, you have breached our sovereign space. State your purpose. Chen took a deep breath. Everything hinged on what happened next. This is Admiral Sarah Chen. We know about the void. We're here to help. Silence stretched for what felt like eternity. Then, prove your knowledge. Your empire exists because you're running from a cosmic anomaly that destroyed your home galaxy, Chen replied. You've spent millennia building up resources and technology to fight it. But your quantum barrier research has hit a dead end, hasn't it? Another pause, longer this time. When the response came, it was from a different voice, older, carrying more authority. I am High Commander Vextal. You have our attention, Admiral Chen. A holographic image appeared on the bridge. A Serac's elder, their crystalline form bearing the complex patterns that denoted great age and status. You offer help after we tried to destroy your species. We offer partnership, Chen corrected. Your people have spent thousands of years researching quantum physics. We developed practical quantum technology in decades. Imagine what we could accomplish together. Show them, Wang whispered. Chen nodded. Dr. Wang, initiate the demonstration. The Avalanche's quantum fold drive activated, but instead of offensive or defensive configurations, it generated something new. A miniature version of the barrier the Seracs have been trying to create. The quantum field expanded, perfectly stable, creating a small zone where space itself was reinforced against disruption. The Serac sensors went wild. Impossible, Vextol breathed. Your field coherence is orders of magnitude better than our best attempts. And that's just the beginning, Wang interjected. We've analyzed your research data. With our practical experience and your theoretical framework, we can scale this up. Way up. You would share this technology? Vextol asked. After everything we've done. The Void doesn't care about our wars, Chen replied. Either we work together, or we all cease to exist. Hours of tense negotiation followed. The Seracs leadership was divided, some advocating for immediate cooperation, others warning that this could be a trick to lower their defenses. But in the end, pragmatism won out. The Seracs hadn't survived this long by ignoring superior technology when it was offered. The next few weeks transformed the facility into a hub of unprecedented cooperation. Human quantum engineers worked alongside Seracs researchers, combining their knowledge in ways neither species had imagined possible. Other allied species contributed their own insights, creating innovations that would have taken centuries to develop in isolation. Field test ready, Wang announced one day, her excitement barely contained. Full-scale quantum barrier prototype. They had chosen a small star system near the edge of Serac space for the test. The Void was still distant, but its effects could be measured. A subtle weakening of space-time that preceded its full manifestation. The Avalanche took position alongside a fleet of Seracs vessels, each equipped with modified quantum generators based on their combined technology. At Chen's command, they activated their systems simultaneously. The barrier that formed was beautiful. A shimmering curtain of reinforced space-time, visible only through its effect on background light. Sensors showed it extending for millions of kilometers in every direction, creating a wall of stabilized space-time. Barrier holding steady, Wang reported. Quantum coherence at 99.9%. The Void's influence is being completely nullified. Cheers erupted across every ship in the fleet, human, Seracs, and allies alike. It wasn't just a technological victory. It was proof that cooperation could achieve what conquest never could. High Commander, Chen called. I believe this concludes our demonstration. Vextel's crystalline form seemed to glow with internal light. Indeed it does. Admiral, the Seracs Empire has existed for millennia, but perhaps it is time for something new. In the months that followed, the galaxy underwent a transformation more profound than any military victory could have achieved. The Seracs Empire became the Seracs Confederation, working alongside its former subjects rather than ruling them. A network of quantum barrier generators was constructed, creating safe zones that would protect civilized space from the Void's advance. Standing on the Avalanche's bridge, watching construction ships from a dozen species working together to build the barrier network, Chen reflected on how much had changed. They had gone into space expecting to fight for survival, only to find that survival itself required something greater than fighting. New quantum readings from the barrier array, Wang reported. We're actually pushing the Void back, not just containing it, reversing it. Chen smiled. Humanity had taken its place among the stars not through conquest or submission, but by offering a hand to their greatest enemy when it mattered most. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in millennia, it was filled with hope rather than fear. The dawn of a new era had begun.